So we were thinking this morning, what shall we do the blog on? And voila, I started making a smoothie and it was obvious we wanted to share that with you. Why? Well, it's chock full of high nutrient dense, plant-based whole foods. So in a matter of seconds, we get this fabulous meal. And what does it include? Well, I've got cilantro, I've got kale, I've got some chard, I've got a beautiful piece of fresh ginger. This is great for digestion. The greens, of course, are the power foods full of micronutrients that feed the body so well. And I've got some whole food protein powder in here, but you could use a combination of nuts and seeds to replace that. Then I put just a little bit, maybe a quarter cup of tart cherry juice because it's so high in antioxidants. The flax, I put a heaping tablespoon of ground flax, which is great for the omega-3s that the body loves. And then all this variety of frozen fruit, so great for high levels of micronutrient. And then I use stevia, and that sweetens it. I use a liquid stevia called Sweet Drops with vanilla flavor, because that is really good. Then I throw in water, just up to, about a third way on the blender.
Now, is there a value in using fresh fruit over frozen fruit, or does that matter?
Well, fresh I think is always higher in nutrient, but frozen's pretty close. You might lose 5% of the nutrients in frozen fruit. If you buy beautiful, organic, good brand fruit, you're going to do pretty well. And in the summertime, we freeze lots of fresh fruit from orchard friends and use it in smoothies in the winter months. Now, we don't do smoothies all the time. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah,
Bill?
we seem to go in phases. Like right now we're in a smoothie phase. And so we'll have a smoothie every day. We might do this for a couple of months. And then suddenly we find that we're not drawn to them as much. So we want to point out too that we aren't highlighting smoothies today as something to do all the time the rest of your life.
Yeah.
What we've found in our lives and with so many of the clients that we work with is that we seem to always be fine-tuning what our bodies need and staying at a real high level of health by listening to our body's prompts. What am I drawn to right now? What we want to do is not figure out a formula for the food to eat to be healthy. We want to learn to deepen our relationship with the intelligence our bodies have to guide us as to what's going to be really best on that day, in that moment, for us to have the highest level of health. And it really works.
Yeah, so I'm going to wear him up. I won't do that now and blast your ears with noise. But it's a beautiful breakfast for me. I really enjoy it. And our recipe today is a mung bean stew made with cashew milk and added lots of, well, not lots, a quarter cup of shredded coconut to give it that coconutty taste. It's so good.
So you're replacing the coconut milk is what you're trying to do with the whole food cashew milk instead of the saturated fat coconut milk.
Yeah, because coconut milk, and it's 92% saturated fat. We don't want that in this body.
Now, speaking of listening to the intelligence of the body, are you able to tell the difference actually when you have a dish with coconut milk versus cashew milk?
I can tell the difference, definitely. Yeah, I don't have that kind of heavy feeling from an oily food, one, and there's more lightness, and the body utilizes and digests it much easier.
Yeah, that's my experience too. And I used to kind of love that kind of heavy, oily feeling, but the love that I had for it seemed to be more from my shoulders up. I love the unctuousness, the texture, the taste, and all of that. But if I reflect back to when I really enjoyed the heavier foods, I didn't really feel that great after eating them. I hadn't really developed this communication or even checking in to see if there was any communication with the wisdom of my body, with the intelligence of my body. And I was really driven to eat more by what I wanted to eat from more of a heady space, as opposed to really listening in and checking out to see what this body would really thrive with, what this body would really come to life with. And that's been steering my food choices more lately. And I tell you, it's a lot more fun this way. I don't miss the hit I used to get from the fatty foods.
Yeah, and it's actually generally, if we're eating food that isn't great for the body, we're coming from old memory and satisfying old memory and old experience ideas, not listening to the cells and their aliveness. So play with it and see, try this recipe and see the difference that you feel from letting go of 90% saturated fat coconut milk.
Yeah, so maybe this week take some time and check in, see what your relationship is with your body in terms of the food you eat, how it feels when we start to eat, how it feels after we eat. See if we want to do that again. And so in summary, this smoothie is kind of the epitome of our mantra for whole health, as a guideline for the foods to eat for the best health. And that's to eat a wide variety of organic, high nutrient dense whole foods.
Plant-based.
All plant-based.
Thanks for your time. Glad you joined us. Bye.
Bye-bye now.